Hi, this is Randy. Having a relationship with a narcissist is basically like playing a permanent, continuous round of different games, except when you're with a covert narcissist and playing these games, number one, you don't know it's a game. Number two, you don't know that the game is continuous. Number three, you don't know how to play the game or the name of the game. And number four, you don't know when the game changes and morphs into a different game. So here's some of the games that narcissists play. I'm sure there are more. The ones that I could identify right now is, first of all, the common carrot and stick game. So the carrot and stick game is the game where if you do good and if you do right and if you do everything that's proper, expected, then you're going to get some carrots. And pretty much that's all it will be carrots. We like to call it crumbs. You don't get the whole cake. And then the stick part of the game is if you fail to do right, if you fail to do good, if you fail to please, then you get punishment. And the punishment never fits the so-called crime. The punishment is also much worse. And the thing about the punishment is that it can come at any time. It doesn't necessarily come right after you displease the narcissist. And the rewards, however, for being compliant, those usually come right away. And sometimes the reward is just as small as you don't upset the narcissist, so you get to continue on in peace for the moment. That might be your reward. The rewards aren't really that good. So the next game I've identified is hide and seek, the hide and seek game. So the narcissist hides, and he doesn't want you to know what he's doing. He doesn't want you in his business. He wants his privacy. He hides his feelings. And he, at times, seems to want you to seek. He wants you to seek. He kind of wants you to chase. Sometimes he wants you to chase. At other times he wants you to back off. You have to figure that out, because that's all part of the carrot and stick game. It's kind of like the hide and seek game is always inside the carrot and stick game. And so are all the other games that you play. They're inside of one another. They're like more windows to open, and they all interact with each other. Like I said, the game changes whenever the narcissist wants to change it, and you don't know when that happens either. So the hide and seek game could be that they're triangulating and they're making you suspicious, and they seem like they want you to kind of check them out, trying to find out what they're doing. Know more about them, ask them questions, be interested. But when you do, and you actually catch them, or you find out something that they didn't want you to know, or you interpret something that they didn't want you to interpret that way, then you get that stick. They switch to the carrot and stick game. You get punished, and it's like, you should have known. You should have known we were changing to the carrot and stick game, and we're not playing hide and seek anymore. I changed it. I wanted you to seek for a second and I changed my mind. Now I want you to go away. Oh, okay, there's another game, and I call it the master and slave game. And that's pretty easy to figure out. The narcissist is the master, and you're the slave. You do whatever he wants, when he wants it, how he wants it. And if you're begging on your knees, if you're groveling, all the better for the master, and all the worse for the slave. The more you allow yourself to be enslaved, the more the master becomes an ogre, a Hitler-like slave driver. And of course, the carrot and stick game is incorporated in this, but again, not too many carrots, but a lot of sticks in the master-slave game. The love and hate game. So the love and hate game is kind of a battle between words and actions. It's a game that the narcissist plays. Again, remember, you don't know it's a game, you don't know the name of the game, but he plays it until you figure out the name of the game, and you ask, how come your words don't match your actions? In the meantime, while you're trying to figure that out, you're thinking you're crazy, dumb, or at least you know something's very, very wrong here. Because the words that come out of their mouth are often so sweet, loving. You hear that word love all the time. And the actions that they display are totally opposite. And that's the love, hate, or words versus actions game. And that's one that you start to figure out pretty early on. And when you figure it out and you confront the narcissist about it, you get that stick again. So remember, you're always in the carrot stick game. That's continuous. The Jekyll and Hyde game. So the Jekyll and Hyde game is kind of like the narcissist is changing avatars. And you're playing this game with one avatar, and then he changes his avatar midstream during the game, and you aren't sure if this is him or if it's a new player who's come in. You don't recognize the avatar. You're not notified that he changed his avatar. You're not told that you can change your avatar or that we're taking a time out from the game to change avatars. They just changed their avatar. And that is like that Jekyll and Hyde game. They act like more than one person. And they might change their avatar several different times. They also play games with other people too, in which they only show the other people one avatar. If you're one of the lucky ones, they'll show you different avatars. So you should be happy that you're seeing all their different avatars from their perspective. They trust you that much. There's the fantasy game. Well, the fantasy game is that any bullshit fantasy about himself or others that the narcissist makes up, you have to go along with it. And you go along with it, and you laugh and joke, and it's funny, ha ha. Everything's a big joke because it's all fantasy, and it's not true. When you start realizing that this one is one that you do know is a game, in your heart you're like, what the fuck, what kind of game is this? But this is the one that the narcissist plays, and he doesn't even know it. This is the game he plays all the time, and he's not aware of it. So when you become aware that he's playing this game that he's not aware of, oh man, that's when it starts getting pretty scary. There's the joking and serious game, and that's where he seems really serious about something, and when he sees your reaction to a question or a comment that he makes that he's very serious about, when he sees your reaction and that it's like appalled or it's like what the fuck, then he says, I was just joking. And so that's the joking serious game. You never know when they are serious or when they're joking, because they decide if they're serious or joking based on the other person's reaction to it. Okay? It's not based on their own intention. They react to other people and they act based on the external stimuli that they get. There's the one-upmanship game, or the one-up game. The one-up game is the narcissist does something and then he wants you to do the same thing. He wants to prove that he's better. If you prove that you're better, then he has to go ahead and do something else that he can prove that he's better at. And then he asks you to see if you're better than him, and then if you are, it just goes back and forth, and you get sucked into the one-up game. And it's like full of competition. It's exhausting. It produces nothing positive, no good results at all in competing with other people in a relationship. Absolutely makes no sense. It's like one of the stupidest games. And then there's the projection game. That's a game that you are unaware of as a target, and actually the narcissist is unaware of it too. So it's like this game that two people are playing and they're both unaware of it. The target's doing all the activity, doing the projection. So he's using his own self-image and the way he feels about himself and others, and acting like and telling you that that's really how you feel and that's how you act. And then you start believing it, and everything gets all messed up when you start believing it, because the projection game is really a very hidden game. It's really, really below the surface. It's hard to detect unless you have a whole lot of insight into yourself and a whole lot of confidence, actually, in order to identify the projection game. The last one I want to talk about is the winner-take-all game. So after you play this game, which is ongoing, long-term, it morphs in and out from one game to another, with the carrot stick game always prevailing and under the surface, with different layers of games being played all at the same time, and you're trying to figure it out, you're trying to keep up, you're trying to at least hold your ground, and you're trying not to get in that completely losing position, even though you've been given no instruction, no warning, and you have no clue what's going on, and you may not even know that there are any games being played. And that's when the narcissist decides to start playing the winner-take-all. And that's when the narcissist decides that it's time to go, game's over. He doesn't let you know that either, but he finds someone else to start playing the games with him. And they do, and pretty soon you're done with the game. You've all of a sudden quit. You had no idea what you did, why you did it, and game's over. Thanks for listening.